afternoon, everybody. What's going on, everybody? Tuesday, February 24th, 2026. My name is Kevin Smith. Thank you so much for tuning in to Loud Majority Live. We got a jam-packed show for you guys today. State of the Union tonight. I'll be honest. I really think the State of the Union is one of the most ridiculous things we do in this country. But it is nevertheless without fireworks. And tonight will certainly be among them as well. We're going to go over everything that you guys should be paying attention to tonight, who the special guests are going to be at the State of the Union, what President Trump may or may not be talking about, what he's going to focus on, what I hope he doesn't focus on, and all the good stuff that should come tonight. Make sure you guys keep it locked in here tonight for the State of the Union coverage. Rumble.com/LFATV. If you are one of my local viewers, once again, guys, tonight we will be at Nappertandy's in Smithtown with the Turning Point USA chapters from Suffolk County Community College, Stony Brook University, and a bunch of the other schools all over Long Island. Come on down. That starts at 8 p.m. at Nappertandy's in Smithtown. It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good night. So come on out for that one. Also, Candace Owens. I really do everything I possibly can not to discuss this woman, but in the last couple of days, she has jumped the shark in a very serious way. She is now putting out a documentary. I'm sure a documentary that will prove nothing, as most of her documentaries have done, like the one she did about Bridget McCrone and the one she did about Stephen Avery. Because it turns out anyone can make a documentary about anything if you're genuinely a dumbass. But we're going to move on from her dumbassery and talk about just how jilted and just how evil she actually is. Dan Bongino had some choice words for people like Candace today. He didn't come on out and say Candace Owens' name, but I will, because I think what Dan said was absolutely spot on. And a deranged leftist, a deranged woman who fled the United States for the paradise that is Canada, finds out that actually Canada sucks. And not just at baseball and not just at hockey. It turns out they suck in their totality. So make sure you guys keep it locked in here for all of that. Before we get started, guys, do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. Once again, also, guys, if you wouldn't mind, I put a link in the chat. President Trump is doing everything he possibly can to save Medicaid, but bureaucracy is getting in the way of that. If you guys want to check out that article, click the link in the chat. I really do appreciate it. It certainly does help me out. Click that link in all of the chats. Check out the article, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later in the show. Talking about that a little bit later in the show. So let's dive right on in. State of the Union tonight. State of the Union is always the spectacle is always a little ridiculous that we air this thing, and it's kind of turned into a bit of a show. One of the funnier things I think we're going to wait and see tonight is when President Trump starts speaking and the Supreme Court is sitting front and center in the or front to the right, as they normally sit in the State of the Union, particularly after they ruled against Trump's tariffs. I have no doubt he will not let that one go. The irony of, I'm just curious to see what he actually ends up saying, if he can physically stop himself from saying so. But the Epoch Times put together a pretty good list of the 5 things to watch at the State of the Union tonight, which airs at 9 p.m. Eastern. President Trump will be highlighting the accomplishments of an administration and seize the moment to shore up the Republicans ahead of the critical midterm elections. Historically, the president's party always suffers midterm losses, and the House appears especially vulnerable this year. Trump is eager to erase this trend and is set to deliver a lengthy speech promoting the policy wins over the last couple of years. It's going to be a long speech because we have a lot to talk about, the president said at an event yesterday at the White House. There will be some tear-jerking moments. Carolyn Levitt said this morning on Fox News, we will celebrate the 250th anniversary of Americans' independence by sharing stories about American heroes. But the big thing people are going to be focusing on are these record-setting accomplishments that the White House plans on laying out, as well as the ambitious agenda set forth to improve affordability for Americans. One big takeaway, one big focus point is going to be, of course, the midterm elections. President Trump has repeatedly said that he plans on delivering a midterms convention, which is something that doesn't normally get done, but I think the president understands just how critical these midterms are going to be, because if we lose the midterms, and I've long said that I think it doesn't look great, it certainly doesn't look great according to recent polls, it's going to be nothing but 2 years' worth of impeachment. The agenda in Congress pretty much is going to stop if we don't get our asses in gear for the midterm elections. Of course, it's going to come down to very crucial swing seats, I should say, all over the country, ones that the president has won before. Can he pick them up again? With tax season underway, he will announce the substantial refunds are on the way due to the tax relief in the One Big Beautiful Bill. Luke Nichter, professor of presidential studies at Chapman University in California, believes Trump's primary message will be about these midterms. Quote, he will want to make sure those enthusiastic supporters are still enthusiastic, that they still support him and continue to turn out this fall. The speech, of course, comes on the heels of the president's tariffs being struck down by the Supreme Court, which will be incredibly awful, which will be incredibly awkward, I should say. Immigration will also be a key topic, as, let's be honest, the last few weeks have been pretty rough in terms of visually about immigration. Now, Democrats are trying to seize the moment by boycotting the speech, with some 30 Democrats who have come out and said that they plan on not attending. None of us really care whether or not Adam Schiff or Eric Swalwell or Al Green with his pimp cane end up showing up at the State of the Union address. To be honest with you, I'm kind of happy that they're not going. This way they just won't disrupt the entire thing and be forced out of the room over a publicity stunt like Al Green did last year. The DHS shutdown due to the ongoing disagreements between the White House and congressional Democrats will obviously be a main focus. Trump is expected to defend the administration's policies while adopting a more measured tone in light of the two fatal shootings in Minneapolis. Another big question is foreign policy. Look, I don't like it, but there is no way to ignore the fact that many of the neocons, particularly in the media, have been clamoring, begging for a war with Iran. Why? I don't really know. It's like they got sick and tired of talking about Savannah Guthrie's mom, so now they have to go back to talking about war. I don't know what it is, but the same neocons on Fox and many of the other networks have been begging the president to start a hot war with the Iranian regime. To be honest with you, I don't really care about Iran at all. Replacing the Ayatollahs would probably be great for the Iranian people, but I'm not really sure how that makes my life any better. I wish someone would explain it to me. Of course, nobody does. They just yell at you if you do anything to fight back against the narrative that we need to continue this war. We need to continue the war with Iran. Of course, this is on the eve of talks that are set in Geneva for February 26th, 2 days from now. We'll closely be watching the new announcements regarding Iran. We also cannot forget the fact that right now there is a giant narco war going on in Mexico, right to the south of us. Some of the footage coming out of this is absolutely terrifying, with one cartel apparently attaching the head of a rival cartel's leader's head to a drone and flying it over the other. It is horrifying, some of the footage that's coming out. I'm not going to play some of it, but if you guys are morbid and you're into that kind of stuff, it's not that hard to find on X of a vehicle shot up with some guy's brains all over the back windshield. I don't know why We It's wild. It's wild to think that there is a genuine narco state right to the south of us, and Democrats for the last 4 years were like, you know what we should do? We should have no safeguards whatsoever. None at all. What could possibly go wrong? And yes, it is a narco state. The cartels run the government. Why? Because they routinely kill elected officials. So if you're Claudia Sheinbaum, the socialist, or whatever, communist, whatever the hell you want to call her, president of Mexico, who's worried about being assassinated by rival cartels, you're going to do whatever they say. That story has really been tamped down. Not tamped down, but not covered as much as I think it should have been over the last couple of days. This, of course, comes after the killing of El Menchino. He's a powerful drug leader. Lawmakers and foreign policy analysts will be listening for clarity on the extent of the U.S. involvement in Mexico's military operation. Trump is also expected to highlight broader efforts to broker peace around the world, crediting him for ending at least 8 wars. Trump may also address unresolved foreign policy issues regarding Greenland, Cuba, Venezuela, and the Golden Dome missile defense system. The Golden Dome is so dumb. It's so dumb. It also doesn't work. It works if you, like, in a small area, like Israel has it, and it works there because Israel's the size of New Jersey. But a Golden Dome in the United States, I just don't think is going... I just don't think it's practical. I don't think it's going to work. It seems like a giant waste of money, but hey, what the hell do I know? What the hell do I know? Another thing to look out for is who is in the gallery. That's always a big talking or a big focal point of the speech, and a whole slew of representatives will be inviting certain people to the speech. Chloe Cole will be there. Of course, that's the detransitioner who's made tremendous strides in promoting just the evils of the sort of trans-industrial complex that we have in our medical system. YouTuber Nick Shirley will be there, along with the family of one of Jeffrey Epstein's most prominent victims, Virginia Giuffre, who died last year. Of course, Team USA Hockey will be there. The boys are in D.C. right now after what I assume some of the videos that are coming out of them in Miami last night. I'm not sure how they were able to wake up after that. They seem to be having themselves a grand old time. But some of the list of the people that will be there: Congresswoman Claudia Tenney from Binghamton will be bringing the Wayne County Sheriff. John Cornyn will be bringing the National Border Patrol President Paul Perez. Bob Onder, Missouri representative, expected to bring Chloe Cole. Chris Smith of New Jersey, who has been in Congress for just over 250 years. He'll be bringing a Hong Kong pro-democracy advocate. Why? I'm not really sure. Rick Scott, in one of the most Florida moves imaginable, will be bringing Kevin O'Leary. So we'll see what happens there. Rep. Randy Fine said he'll be bringing his dog after he faced backlash for a comment he made last week about dogs and Muslims. Don't bring your dog to Congress. That's going to piss some people off. But what the hell, Also, how big is the dog? Randy Fine's a pretty big guy, so if he shows up with a Chihuahua, that's going to look a little ridiculous. Of course, my favorite part of the speech, my favorite part of the State of the Union is what comes afterwards, when Democrats give their preposterous response. That's always fun. Reactions from Democrats in the chamber will obviously be closely watched. As in previous years, some lawmakers are expected to stage symbolic protests, wearing coordinated colors and displaying signs like they did last year. The Democratic Party response will be delivered by newly elected Abigail Spanberger, who won in a landslide last November and became the state's first female governor. Her response will air immediately after the president's speech. Democratic strategist and former Biden White House advisor, said that Spanberger's selection shows the party is changing its strategy by focusing on affordability and moving away from identity issues. Well, that's exactly what Abigail Spanberger did. The response is expected to be measured and aimed at voters who are uneasy about Trump as the president, even if they sometimes support Republicans. The big takeaway, or leading into it, the big one, is how many Democrats will be skipping the speech, instead attending an alternative event. You guys remember when alternative events were a problem, like 10 days ago at the Super Bowl halftime show? Well, now having an alternative event is a good thing. They're calling it the People's State of the Union. Democrats, who are usually pretty good at naming things, suck at this one. Those who will be attending that one will be Pencil Neck Adam Schiff, Ed Markey, the guy who put forth the Green New Deal and then didn't vote for it, Jeff Merkley, who you've never heard of, Chris Murphy, who thinks he's going to be president, Tina Smith, who isn't running for re-election, Chris Van Hollen, who went down to El Salvador to meet with an MS-13 gang member, Pramila Jayapal, who wants to be in the squad so bad she can't even stand herself, and then a gaggle of other Congress members you've never heard of. So I guess that'll be their time in the sun at the People's State of the Union on the National Mall. I genuinely hope they freeze. Maybe somebody to come, I'm not going to say that. I shouldn't say that. That's not nice. Throw some water on them, give them pneumonia. I shouldn't say that, though. I shouldn't say that. Plus, let's be honest, I'm going to save the majority of my hatred and vitriol for the next segment, for this evil Candace Owens. Got to make sure I lower the volume for that one, because, believe me, there'll be enough vitriol for that one. I really hope that the president doesn't say the phrase, the Dow Jones is at 50,000, because then, quite frankly, he will become the meme that everyone is sharing all over the internet when Pam Bondi made an absolute ass out of herself testifying before Congress. So we'll see. Will there be fireworks tonight? There absolutely will be. What will the Democrats have planned? Will they hold up those little paddles like they did last time, where they looked like absolute jackasses, or all wearing coordinated colors? For some reason, the address is also considered to be a prime opportunity for the president to lay out his legislative priorities. This year, Trump is expected to encourage the passage of the SAVE Act, a bill that requires citizenship would require citizenship in proof of citizenship in order to vote. He will also tout the other policies like banning male athletes with gender dysphoria from competing in women's sports. I'm really not sure why that's an accomplishment. That was reality up until like 10 minutes ago. But, Democrats are trying to back away from that issue as badly as humanly possible. And why wouldn't they? Because it's not going well for them. Because it turns out everyone knows it's bat-ish crazy. Where to watch? Well, if you want to watch, you go to rumble.com/LFATV, of course. Duh. Jeremy Harrell and Will Johnson will be doing commentary on that. I think they're starting at 9. I think they're starting at 9 p.m. tonight. Just keep it locked in here throughout the day. Rumble.com. Say it, Kevin. They said it to you about you. Yeah, they did. So, whatever. Let's move on, because I got to make sure I get to this topic. I don't want to cover this topic. I really don't, but it's important. And I really think it shows the level of derangement among some people on the political right. And I really hate talking about Candace Owens. I really do. But the last 2 days, she has jumped the shark in a very serious way. In a very, very serious way. We're going to get to that in 1 second. Before we do that, here's Jeremy.
Hey, everybody. If you're not familiar with, then let me introduce to you Armor Colostrum. Now, I didn't know what colostrum was up until a few years ago. I'd never even really heard of it. And then my wife turned me on to Armor Colostrum. And what colostrum does is it helps regrow your hair. Not going to lie, that's the reason that I started looking into it. But then I started noticing some other things that I could benefit from. I used to get acid reflux very badly. I used to bloat very badly. It felt like I was 10 or 15 pounds heavier than I was until I made Armor Colostrum a part of my everyday schedule. And now things have changed so very much. Let me introduce to you what Armor Colostrum actually does and what it looks like. In a study measuring immune cell response to toxin, Armor Colostrum performed 32% stronger and faster than other colostrum companies. 400 plus bionutrients activated in your life, in your body, to help regrow hair, strengthen your gut health, regrow your nails, toenails, and fingernails healthy, get rid of fungus, stop bloating, and more. And now you can get yours right now for up to $18 off each and every purchase at tryarmra.com. Promo code LFATV. Click the apply button once you've entered the code and watch your discount fall off. That is tryarmra.com/LFATV. Order now.
Guys, head on over to tryarmor.com and use code LFATV. That's tryarmor.com and use code LFATV. So, I got to talk about this now. I wish I didn't have to, but we live in the land of the stupid. We live in the land of the grift in a very, very serious way. Candace Owens has decided to put out a new documentary. I want to make sure I'm gentle about this because I want to try not to lose my mind. I'm going to. I'm going to lose my mind, but I want to try and avoid it. Now, for a long time, we've heard Candace Owens, I'm just asking questions. I just feel like Charlie came to me in a dream, whatever that means. And we heard about Mossad and the French Foreign Legion, and we heard about Egyptian planes, and we heard about tunnels underneath the university, and we heard about every sort of batshit crazy notion that Candace Owens has ever had. Apparently, it's my job to disprove her subconscious. Well, if Charlie came to her in a dream, then I'm just supposed to believe it. Well, now she has gotten to where we all knew she was getting to. She was circling that drain, covered in shit, for long enough. And now she has decided to put out a new documentary called The Bride of Charlie. Candace Owens is evil. Like, she's just like, you know, I gotta turn the volume down for that one. Some people in the chat will say what they think I said. I have never in my life seen a better example of like a jilted woman ever. Like this, her level of jealousy, quite frankly, is Shakespearean. Like, they could write a play about how jealous Candace Owens is that she wasn't picked. And I'm going to lose some viewers for this. I am. And that's okay. Because I don't want viewers. And Bongino said this in a minute. I'm going to play you a very long, very expletive-laced clip of Dan Bongino, who I think exactly hits the nail on the head here. We all knew this is where Candace Owens was going. That eventually she was going to work her way. She shit on Charlie's friends and his employees. She shit on everybody who questioned her insanity, the Zionists. Which, if you judge my comment section, I'm sure you'll see. No, Candace has nothing to do with Israel. This has to do with the fact that you're a raging asshole. Just a raging asshole. I'm going to show you guys the trailer to this documentary. I don't even know if I'm going to watch the damn thing because I'm just going to get mad about the entire thing. Here is the thumbnail that Candace Owens put out. Oh, yeah. This seems like somebody who really wants to dig down to the truth. That's what this seems like. Someone who really wants to get to the truth. Here's the absurdity of this.
Erica Kirk has been named the new CEO of Turning Point USA.
My husband's dead. Like, I'm not trying to be morbid, but he's dead.
It's weird to say excited.
Describes her husband's funeral as the event of the century. Merch hats.
We have 50,000 plus hat orders.
Nobody knows why she's out there in a glittering pantsuit in a recreated tent that her husband tragically was murdered in, throwing merch out.
Everyone grieves differently, so if someone's acting weird, don't read into that.
Zionists, the Prime Minister of Israel, all lied through their teeth about Charlie Kirk.
Her operation was in Constanta, the epicenter of Romania's trafficking scandal.
Weird conversations to have with a 15-year-old. I'm going to touch your butt.
$8.6 million to their own shell company. What is going on?
We have nothing to hide. My aunt used to tell me, never do something that you don't want on the front page of a newspaper.
Oh, episode 1. Episode 1. We've got another drama docuseries coming out from Candace Owens. I'm sorry, this is all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Firstly, and look, let's be honest here. This is what the trailer should really look like. It should really be called I Should Have Been the Bride of Charlie, because I've never seen a more jilted woman in my life, a woman more upset that she didn't get taken to prom by the quarterback in my entire life. But we all knew this is where Candace Owens was getting to. She has come out with some of the most outrageous claims. It's like every day she sits around and she's like, what could be the craziest thing I could say today that would get some of, and I want to be clear, the dumbest people on the internet to believe it. A couple of weeks ago, she claimed that Erica Kirk was a lesbian pedophile. I just feel like, and you guys might not believe it, but like, I just feel like. So now we've got another drama docuseries. By the way, she put that together awfully quickly. Of course, that teaser doesn't really tell you anything about what she's going to expose, because like every other Candace Owens drop, it's always wait till next week, or stay tuned for more evidence, or I got an email from somebody and I didn't fact check any of the things in the email, but I'm going to believe it because I'm a dumbass. Look, there's no doubt Candace is incredibly talented on camera. There's no doubt. She's got a gigantic audience way bigger than mine. Somehow. Some way. I don't really know how. I guess the best way to promote your America First bona fides is to marry foreign royalty. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe the best way to prove your America Firstness is to marry a lord from the UK. I don't know. I could be wrong. But here is the problem with this. And this is what happens when you win. And this is a larger commentary on the news commentary area, is that you don't grow. You don't make more money. You don't expand your viewer base when you're getting the things that you want. What do I mean by that? Fox News grew to the biggest news channel in the world because they spent 8 years bitching about Barack Obama. CNN and MSNBC, over the course of the last 10, 12 years, would have died if not for their complaining about President Trump. Many networks grew under the Biden years because when you're out of power, it is easier to grow. It just is. And there are many people in this movement, and I'm not pointing at anybody in particular. I'm pointing at Candace in particular. Let's just be clear. Who are seeing viewership go down and attempting audience capture. And it is one of the most disingenuous. I want to be clear. I'm going to do this show no matter how many people watch. Whether it's 1 million, 10,000, I don't care. You're going to get how I feel about things. And if you agree with me, you'll keep watching. And if you don't, I'll be yelling into the wind. And I'm okay with that. Because I like doing this. I'm not here to keep my name in the press. Quite frankly, I would rather my name not be in the press. Maybe then ugly people would stop protesting me everywhere I go. But there is a big difference between having a career that makes you a contrarian and doing this, doing what she's doing. It's vile. And it's disgusting. And Bongino hit on that earlier this morning. Just to be clear, if you're one of the people that goes into my comments section and says you don't like foul language, this clip probably isn't for you.
Hey, I think so. We'll see. Even an old 51 years old, I don't walk around all day terrified about my security situation. Maybe I should, but I don't. I'm nobody's victim. I chose a public life, and sadly, this is a part of it. Erica didn't choose this, man. She didn't choose this. Imagine sitting there in your house and you find out from Twitter or, I don't know, a text or a phone call or that your husband was just shot in the neck for the entire world to see on social media at a public event. I can't imagine that. I know you can't either. Then you got to go through this. And you got a bunch of absolute fucking lunatics sending her emails. You did it. Comments, tweets. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. You demonic fucking scum. For as much as I hate what just happened, I wish ill on no one, and everyone should restrain their emotions from the other side because they are not on our side. Everyone. Once you go down the road of violence, there's no turning back. There's always someone stronger than you, man. Always. There's a whole lot of people stronger than me. And I'm sorry if the language distracts from you, but I can think of no other New York way to say it than fuck you, motherfuckers. You deserve to feel the little licks of the flames of hell on every inch of your body. Fuck you. If there's an afterlife, oh, and I believe there is. I believe in the second creation. I don't pretend to be the judge and jury, but I know you're not in it. I got to tell you, I've been doing this for a really long time now. And as I said in the beginning of the show, I walked into the dark forest. I didn't know where it was going to go. I did not have this all mapped out because I don't know what to say. People have tried being nice. People have tried screaming and yelling. People have tried a middle of the road approach. Nothing works. Ignore it, it metastasizes. Address it, it metastasizes. I wish I had the answer. I can only make decisions for me. I can't make decisions for you as to what you want to watch or what you don't. This isn't about views or who's popular or who's this. I don't care. I'm just telling you I'm making a decision for me now. I don't want to be any part of that. If you're part of that, please leave. If it is half my audience disappears tomorrow, good riddance. Sayonara, motherfuckers. I don't want you. Nobody else wants you here. The people who watch this show don't want you here. Sane people, and that is a majority of us, hate your guts. We don't want you. Nobody wants you. You were the spawn of Satan. I promise your parents, alive or dead, are looking at you now in horror that they spawned the demon.
Dan goes on, but you know what? He's correct. And to all the people out there that are going to, jump in my comments or whatever, oh, this, what has she got to hide? Look, if Erica Kirk had never come out in public, you'd be saying, what does she have to hide? Now that she's out in public, you guys are sitting there saying, why is she wearing this sort of outfit? Maybe look inside. Maybe look inside and ask yourself what you think the appropriate response would be to watching your husband die in front of the entire world. And what you would do in that situation, because I got news for you, you don't have the slightest fucking clue how you would react, what you would do, what it would mean to attempt to keep a legacy and a movement alive. Have there been stumbles along the way? Sure. Are there parts of the story that don't totally make sense with the kid that shot him? Sure. But that's not what this is. This is the ultimate grift. The ultimate bit of just evil. And there's no other way to say it. There's no other way to say it. And I didn't speak out about it sooner. And a lot of other people did. And I should have. Because this is wrong. It's wrong. You want to not believe the official narrative? I have no issue with that at all. There's people out there who are going to hear a story and they're immediately going to question it no matter what it is, whether it's Charlie or the COVID vaccine or whatever the hell else is happening in the world. There's people out there who are going to immediately question it. That's just what people do. But what she's doing is so much different than that. And if you want to turn this show off, if you want to unfollow me, if you want to stop coming to our events, if you want to claim that I'm some sort of Zionist paid shill, you go right ahead. I don't care. I don't care. Because batshit crazy Owens decided to respond to a lot of the criticism that she's getting by saying that we're all in cahoots. We're all in cahoots, naturally, with the Jews. Naturally. Because the concept of Zionism has now become the new black or gay. Where, I say this about Don Lemon all the time. Don Lemon can't fathom the idea that people hate him because he's an asshole, so it must be because he's black and gay. Candace Owens has now entered the realm where it can't be people hate her because she's a grifting piece of crap. It must be because just everyone with any sort of relatively sized social media following is all paid by Israel. If I'm getting paid by Israel, nobody's letting me know about it. They must have the wrong damn address. Because the checks are going somewhere, they ain't going to me. It's frustrating because it's stuff like this that's going to lead to the demise of the movement. Believe me, I see it. I see it in the comments. Anytime I criticize Candace, anytime I criticize anybody saying something that I know to be objectively false because I know some of the people involved that people like Candace are smearing. So you want to unfollow this page? You want to never watch a show anymore? You want to say this? I promise you, whatever the hell you're going to throw at me, like this stupid woman in the YouTube comments, Audrey, whatever, you mean nothing to me. I thrive off the haters because I'm just telling you what I believe. And if you don't like that, I don't really care. I don't really care. But look, I hope that Turning Point and Eric can do something about this with this ridiculous documentary. I hope they sue the shit out of Candace Owens for all the money that her foreigner husband is worth, which apparently is a shitload. That's probably how she can afford to, put out aggressively ridiculous miniseries. And I hope that some of the well-meaning people, because there are out there, that Candace is going to use, like Dave Smith, for example. I think Dave Smith is incredibly talented. I think he's a smart guy. If I was Dave, I'd be incredibly annoyed that I'm in this teaser. I don't know. I hope to never have to talk about this again, but unfortunately, I don't think this woman's going anywhere. Because here's the dirty secret. They were on the side of the movement when it benefited them. And now that it's beneficial to be critical of the movement, they're on the other side. While some of us are still out there trying to fight the good fight, trying to continue to win, trying to better the nation, it doesn't take any balls to sit on the outside and snipe away. That's easy. Any schmuck can do that. Am I getting everything I want out of this administration? No. Am I getting some things that I want? Yes. And there's a difference between fighting every day to get the stuff that we haven't gotten yet and saying that it was all a waste of time and there's no point in partaking in it anymore. Because I got news for you. 4 years from now, many of these people, they'll be back on the MAGA train. Or by then, they'll probably jump on the Fuentes train. Because that's what they do. They're not leaders. They're followers. And if people don't like that, I'm going to keep doing my thing. I'm going to keep winning elections. I'm going to keep doing what works. We've proven the formula here, particularly on Long Island. So, Candace doesn't like that. She can keep getting her 500,000 views a show. I wish her all the success. And she's going to end up in hell. At least that's where I think she belongs. Guys, we'll be back in 1 second. We got some more stories, but I make sure that I get to before we close out the day. Before we get to that, guys, here's Mike Lindell.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
Guys, head on over to MyPillow.com and use promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD, for up to 80% off everything on the website. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. So, Gavin Newsom's having a bit of a time of it after he either purposefully or by accident told a room full of black people that he's just like them because he can't read. Well, Newsom's still not having fun after a reporter asked him about the dyslexia comment that he made, that apparently he got a 960 on his SATs because he can't read, which makes him just like black people. That's not me saying it. That's Gavin Newsom saying it. Well, he then told the reporter to fuck off when she asked him about this. This is a pretty funny story. A spokesperson for Gavin Newsom's for California's Democratic governor told the reporter to F off after she requested documentation relating to the governor's claim over the weekend that he had dyslexia. Real Clear Politics correspondent asked the governor's office for medical records verifying Newsom's claim that he was diagnosed with dyslexia as a child. Susan Crabtree then posted a screenshot of the email on social media in which Gavin Newsom's comms director, Izzy Gordon, replied respectfully, F off. Fox News asked Gordon if the message reflected the governor's position, to which the spokesperson said Crabtree can, quote, F off. Asked whether Newsom shared that sentiment, Gordon told the outlet that the governor literally has no idea who Susan is. So apparently, according to Governor Gavin Newsom, you're allowed to tell people to go F themselves if you don't know who they are. So let's check the comments section real quick. Let's see. Sam Levy, fuck off. Look, I'm just saying, the Governor Newsom said that you could say that. So, I'm just following procedure here. I need a fun story, though. I need some fun stories. We got about 10 minutes left, and Candace Owens really annoyed the shit out of me today. So how about we tell some funny stories? One about whole milk being racist, and another when apparently a trans porn model got very upset that somebody wouldn't pay them for sex because they weren't Jewish, which both of these stories are absolutely ridiculous, but I need something to make me laugh in the last 10 minutes of the show. Before we get to that, guys, head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out our shop. That is the best way to support this show and all the work we're doing. Over here, you guys can use promo code RUMBLE to get 20% off everything on the website. That's promo code RUMBLE to get 20% off everything on the website. Also, once again, tonight, guys, State of the Union Watch Party, Napper Tandy's in Smithtown. We're going to be there from 8 to whenever the hell the speech ends. President Trump, the speech could be 40 minutes. It could be 5 hours, so we're not really sure. But the party starts at 8 p.m. at Napper Tandy's in Smithtown. For my local audience, make sure you guys come on down. We're expecting a big crowd, despite the fact that I know many of you are still snowed in after the Arctic tundra that came through over the last couple of days. But we are having a heat wave outside today. It's slightly over 40 degrees, so I guess we should be happy about all of that. Let's start with this one. So there's some radical lefty out there who apparently claims to be a, quote, scholar of the far right. Now, I don't know what that means. If they have a degree, which would make them a scholar of the far right, it's nice to know that they work at Starbucks. And there's nothing wrong with working at Starbucks. There is something wrong with working at Starbucks, however, when you took out a $300,000 student loan in order to do it. Well, her and her partner apparently fled the United States upon Donald Trump being elected. Fled the United States for the unbelievable paradise that is Canada. And then they got there and they realized, oh, Canada sucks too. You see, the best part about the deranged leftists out there is that actually they don't know how good they really have it. They have no idea. All they are taught is to bitch and moan and complain and complain and complain. And then when they go anywhere else in the world, they find out that it sucks there. And they didn't know how good they have it. I could watch videos like this all day long.
I'm a scholar of the far right who has fled the United States to Canada, and I need help. The situation in Canada is absolutely dire. For Americans who don't know, the housing crisis here is worse than in the United States. I lived in LA for 6 years, and I have not faced rent as bad as here. When my partner, our cat, and our dog fled the United States, we headed north with the goal of being close to where our families are located, which is on the West Coast. So we are now in British Columbia. More specifically, we are in the Sea to Sky Highway in the Greater Vancouver area. We are attempting to find housing in the western side of this region. My partner and I are here on a visitor visa, which is a 6 months possible stay for Americans. But while you're here on a visitor visa, you can't work. So we are currently surviving off of what savings we could get together before we fled the United States. And that's not terribly much. And in Canada, I think it's actually the cost of living crisis is worse here, especially when you are shut out of the healthcare system, when you can't access any of the resources that Canadians have access to. And that's understandable. You know, I'm not a citizen of the country, but it is making the financial situation dire because we can't work. Because there are 2 adults, a cat and a dog, we are looking for more than a room.
Oh, wait, you understand that? You understand that you don't have the ability to get all of the things that Canada provides because you're not a citizen? Wait a minute. You sound awfully MAGA to me there, Karen. Because that's all we're asking for here. All we're asking for is that American citizens be granted the privilege of being an American citizen. That we don't have to take in the totality of the world's poor. Or in your case, the totality of the world's angry and liberal. You see, you went to Canada because you thought it was Michael Moore's Canada, where everybody sleeps with their doors open and they all ride around on mooses and they get free health insurance and everything is fine. Of course, you want to go to British Columbia, stolen land, but you don't mention that part. Look, am I happy that this person and their partner and their cat and their dog are struggling? Yeah, I am. I'm genuinely happy, and maybe that's a character flaw on my part that I shouldn't be happy. A little Schadenfreude that that it just sucks. It sucks that your life sucks, but it turns out, moving slightly north of Seattle wasn't going to change your life any. It turns out the best way to change your life is for you to change your life, not just move into some liberal utopia that is Canada. The housing crisis in Canada is even worse. Yeah. And you're not going to get all of the subsidies you think Canadians get. Because Canada realizes that they need to protect their citizens before they protect angry Los Angelinos who apparently think California is not liberal enough for you. And did you know you can't get a job in Canada if you're not a Canadian citizen? Oh! Really? Why don't you just move to Canada and do, all those jobs that Canadians don't want to do? Like picking vegetables, or, washing cars, or mowing lawns, or building igloos, or pulling salmon out of the river, or whatever the hell it is they do up there in their denim on denim, not winning hockey gold medal country. Why don't you do some of that? Because apparently you think that illegal immigrants in America are necessary because they're willing to do all the jobs that Americans won't do. So perhaps you'd be able to find work cleaning Canadians' toilets. Maybe go find Justin Trudeau and Katy Perry and clean their toilet. Or you know what else you could try doing? You could try... That's right. You could try doing that, honey. You could try... Something to think about. I don't know. What the hell do I know? I'm just, the evil white straight Christian man. By the way, what's with the pencil eyebrows? Okay? 1998 called. They want them back. One more hilarious story before we check out for the day, because sometimes you read a headline that's absolutely so insane, it's almost hard to utter into words. Let's get ready for this one. You guys ready for this from the Post Millennial? I want to make sure I get this right. Trans porn model stabs Miami man for refusing to have sex with him because he's not Jewish. That's a real headline. Police have arrested an Atlanta-based online adult transgender content creator. Can you imagine when your grandparents were like storming the beaches of Normandy that they thought one day somebody was going to read that sentence out loud? Let's try it again. Police arrested an Atlanta-based online adult transgender content creator Thursday night after a man reportedly was stabbed during an argument inside his Miami Beach apartment after refusing to have sex with that individual because, quote, she was not Jewish. What can I say? Some people just have a line in the sand. According to the arrest report obtained by Local 10, authorities identified the suspect as LaRose Sante, 30, a trans-identified male whose full name is listed as LaRose Angel Shante. Police booked Shante, or Sante, whatever, on felony aggravated battery along with 3 misdemeanors. The incident reportedly occurred Thursday night. According to the arrest report, the victim told officers he met Shante about 3 weeks earlier and invited the individual to his apartment. But after Shante arrived, he said he would not be having sex because she was not Jewish. I don't know. I needed a good laugh today. And that title did it. Guys, it's 4 p.m. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys tune in tonight, rumble.com/LFATV, for the State of the Union coverage with Will Johnson and Jeremy Harrell. I'll catch you guys back live tomorrow. Until then, everybody, stay loud.